fact that the fans are still staging protests. We actually saw some scenes of it during the game as well. This is what it looked like outside at Stadio Olimpico, as these fans were not only not attending the game, but also trying to dissuade the people that were trying to go in from going in. You mentioned that situation, Grella, in terms of if they go on in advance and get to a final, which is in this very same stadium, their home, the Coppa Italia final. How long do you think this will carry on, and how bad of a look is this for Lotito, for Lazio, even for Italian football, that we're still seeing scenes of fans not wanting to enter their own team stadium?
Yeah, it's not a good look because this is not like a relegation side. This is a side with a lot of history and a lot of second place not long ago, and a lot of European history as well. So I just would wonder, because Aaron asked the question to Marco before the game, like, what would it take for the fans to come back? What would it take for them to understand? And I understand it's been average for a long time and they haven't reinvested, but you would imagine that it's not like Tati Castellano was a world beater. It's not like Guendouzi was a world beater. But you would imagine it's not impossible to re-sign these guys and put a little bit of energy back into the club, a little bit of investment back into the club. And how many signings are they actually away from making the fans happy? Maybe 2 or 3 really good signings that they're away, and then you've got a really good side because you've got a good manager in Sarri. You've got Provedel, who's got experience in the league and also at the Champions League level with Lazio. A lot of these guys have been there for a long time. Their back line's pretty good, by the way. Romagnoli and Hila you could put them up there with the 2 center backs as good as anyone in the league. So how many signings will it actually take? Will it take 2 or 3 really good signings? Maybe a striker? Maybe someone that's going to invigorate the fans and be excited. It would be interesting to know exactly what would tip that over.
So we're broadcasting in the United States. I'm glad we're talking about this. Imagine the equivalent. Imagine an NFL game. Fans don't show up. NBA. Premier League. Has that ever happened in the Premier League? I don't remember a game in which the stadium's empty where there's 60,000 plus fans that refuse to go. There's not much precedent across the globe for this happening. At most, you'll see like the Curva not showing up because they're protesting, or maybe they come in after 15 minutes, which is what we've seen in Serie A. But for the 90% of the fan base, plus more actually, because 3,000 out of 60, 70,000 is crazy. For them not to show up at all and be outside the entire time, there's very little precedence for this. Like, I'm glad we're showing it because this is beyond a crazy situation.
But I just wonder, Matteo, if they sign
Torino too, it's not just Lazio.
If they sign 3 really good players, does that move the
But they're not doing that. They're not doing that by the end of the season.
To that point, when are they going to come back? Because they can't sign anyone until the summer. What is the tipping point to say, we feel like you have listened to us, you have done what we asked, we will come back now? Because they can't.
Lotito's going to spend $30 million now because the few fans didn't show up to the stadium. There's no way. That's just not how they operate. Unless they change the ownership, it's not going to change for Lazio. This is who they are. They're a selling club. You develop a very good player, he's out the door if you can get the highest bidder.
Do they want him to sell? Is that what gets
the owner doesn't want to lose money. There's a lot of Serie A teams now that are run like businesses. Atalanta is one of the rare ones that works, that you can be profitable and you can have success. This is not supposed to happen in the modern game. If you want the team to be the best in the world, you better hope you have a whole state behind you, willing to pour in billions, that it doesn't even matter if they lose money, that it's just all about the PR. Great. We don't have that right now. With a lot of these owners, they want to make money. The fans want to win. That's the big difference right here.
And I think in some ways, Atalanta almost serve as that model for so many clubs in the league, where you go, well, if they can do it, then anyone can. You would think a club with the resource level. Right. I mean, Lazio play in a bigger stadium.
They have a different level than everyone else when it came to this, Chris. But that's a great point. Bologna tried as well, but only Atalanta really can do that successfully for many years.
Marco is live from Stadio Olimpico. What did you make of the second half? We talked to you at halftime in terms of the atmosphere surrounding the game. The game kind of comes to life, so that becomes a bit of the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%, Chris. It was nice to see, and you could feel the energy of Lazio and the importance of this game. We spoke about it before the match, how important this is for them to get to Europe, and they started to push, and they started to have a little bit more courage going forward. But I think it really sums up Lazio's season, that second half. What happens? They score a goal. The fans set off fireworks from outside because I told you they've been protesting, so they score a goal. They're happy. They set off these fireworks. Just minutes later, they have Atalanta score. What happens again? They score the second one. Once again, Atalanta score and tie 2-2. So it sums up Lazio's season. Anytime there's a little bit of joy, there's always that next thing that comes in and finds, and there's always a moment. So not a fun night here for the Lazio fans. And for Atalanta, I got to give them a lot of credit. They were missing a lot of players. They have so many matches coming up. In less than a week's time, they still have to go and play Udinese and then play Bayern Munich, rotated a little bit, and still came away with the 2-2 draw.
Hey, Marco, I mean, we could see a little bit from here, but from there, maybe you could see a lot clearer. It was almost as if Atalanta were waiting for something to happen in the game. Like, as soon as Lazio scored, then they would step up and play. And it looked like they upped the tempo of the game. And then the same thing happened on the second goal when Lazio scored. Then Atalanta all of a sudden stepped on the gas. But it seemed that the in-between moments that they just played sort of down to Lazio's level, or they just played down to like a normal intensity. And they were just, only until they conceded a goal, they would step on the gas a little bit.
It felt very reactive. I agree with you, Grella, and I think it was more so not to overexpose himself and to try to manage. Again, I think trying to play in so many competitions like Atalanta is trying to do with a reduced squad we mentioned before, but Charles de Catalate, probably their best attacking player, Raspadori, the man that they brought in to try to replace Adamele Lukman, who they also lost him in January. It's not an easy situation, so I think they're picking their moments, and you would have to say, Grella, I understand the style of play. Maybe you're not too happy on that sense, but they had to pick those moments. They didn't want to allow Lazio at home to start with that advantage in the first leg. They could bring it back to Bergamo, manage it in a better way. But yeah, I do agree. It was more reactive than anything else tonight.
Marco, looks like the Lazio eagle got loose. He's flying there behind you. Even he's trying to get out of the stadium. Listen, what did the players really tell you off air? They gave the political answer. We respect the fans' decision. They're angry. They're frustrated, right? Tell us what really happened.
By the way, I've never been more scared than anything in my life than being face to face with the eagle. Terrifying. I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I got too close for comfort. Let's say that. Matteo, I think you could understand the seriousness of the situation by the way that the players answer the question. We also had Fabiani, director. I spoke to him, and they don't want to make an enemy out of the fans, because the fans are not necessarily protesting the players themselves, and they're not necessarily protesting Sarri. It's the top level, and they're almost forced into this. And that's why I said, from some of the fans that I spoke to before the match, we don't want to not be able to support our team, but this is a last resort. It's the only thing that we could see that has a way of impacting the club. I mentioned 20,000 fans signed a petition. That didn't do anything. That doesn't move the needle. Not coming here, not spending your hard-earned money, only having 4,000 fans in a Coppa Italia semi-final match to decide your season, well, that might be something Lotito looks at.
Marco Messina, live from Stadio Olimpico. That is your job done for us tonight. We will see you in Milan for the Derby della Madonnina. Decent one.
Wait, I'll see you guys.
Thank you very much, Marco. As we go now to Claudio Lotito, Marco mentioned him there, and he actually had some comments after the game about the protest to Sport Mediaset, the domestic broadcaster for the Coppa Italia, saying it is disappointing. We would have liked to see a full stadium tonight. Not so much for us as for the players. We must respect the decision of the supporters. Naturally, it is nothing new. So not really advancing the story very much there, just observing something that is happening. The Lazio president after the game. Again, the fans are protesting on account of the lack of ambition of the football club, and many have called for the owner, Lotito, to sell the team.
Thanks for watching this video from our CBS Sports Matchday coverage. For more analysis and for all of the games, including Serie A, EFL, as well as a full suite of UEFA club competitions like the UEFA Women's Champions League, sign up for Paramount+.